Hello, my most amazing artists, and hi, first grade. It is October, so we are going to start some fall-inspired artwork, and we're going to be learning about one of my personal favorite artists, Romero Britto. Romero Britto is a Brazilian pop artist who uses lots of bright, bold colors with black outlines and pattern. I have a presentation linked in the classroom along with this video that you should go watch first. It's all about Romero Britto, and you can see some of his amazing artwork. There is also a video that interviews him attached, and you get to see the artist himself talk about his artwork, and you can watch him paint, and you get to see his amazing studio where he makes his art on all kinds of Disney toys, watches, shoes, you name it. It's pretty cool. In the video with Romero Britto talking about his artwork, we learn that he is a self-taught artist and that he has a company that mixes all of his paint colors for him. He used to have to mix them all by hand until he got super famous, but it's pretty cool because he has like every single color you could ever imagine. So for our fall project, we are going to be making pumpkins inspired by Romero Britto. We in the classroom are mixing different paint colors just like Romero does to get a bunch of different values of orange. We'll have bright orange, light orange, macaroni and cheese orange, dark orange, you name it, you get to try to mix it. If you don't have paints at home, you can contact me. I'll get some paints ready for you. You can come pick them up. Or you can use materials that you have at home, whether it's paints, crayons, markers, colored pencils, you name it. But I can get you paints if you need them. So for this project, we are creating the pumpkins. We're mixing the colors. We're adding the black outlines, which is something that's very iconic in his artwork, and all the bright, fun pattern. But we're not just making the pumpkin. We're also mixing the colors to get different values of blues and greens and bluey greens mixed ourselves for the background. And we're going to section off the background with black lines and fill in pattern there. So we have a nice bright pumpkin on a big blue background. Today, we are going to be working on drawing a pumpkin. So you need a piece of paper and a pencil for this step. So gather those things up and let's draw a pumpkin. Okay, so for drawing a pumpkin, no matter what paper you're using, I want you to draw the biggest pumpkin possible to take up all the space on your paper. So your pumpkins might be kind of long or short and fat, maybe a little lumpy. There is no such thing as a perfect pumpkin. But the first thing I'm going to think about is what two shapes do I think a pumpkin would need for sure? Well, when I think of a pumpkin, I think of a roundish body. And a pumpkin always has a stem on top. So I think my two shapes that I need to focus on is a circle or an oval for the body of the pumpkin and a square or a rectangle for the stem. So those are going to be my two shapes today. I'm using a pen. I think you should use a pencil just in case, but I'm going to make two different types of pumpkins. Depending on how you have your paper oriented, if you've got it this way or this way, you're going to get two totally different shaped pumpkins. So I'm going to do one of each, and you can pick which ones you want to do. Maybe you want to try both of them. So the first one, I'm going to start off with the stem. On both of my papers, I want to go to the top of my paper, top edge, and I want to try to find the center. So not way over here, not way over here, but kind of in the middle at the top. If I can find the middle, I'm going to draw my square stem. And I even make the top of my square the top of my paper because I want it to be as big as possible. So it's going to be very, very at the top. Next, I want to make my ovally and round body. Remember, you want your pumpkin to be as big as your paper. So I'm taking my finger, I'm going to the bottom corner of my square, and I'm going to kind of trace a big oval where it almost touches the edge. It comes and curves down, almost touches the edge, almost touches the edge, and curves back up. I'm going until I almost touch the edge of my paper so I know that I'm taking up as much of my paper as possible. I want a big pumpkin. Not a perfect oval, but no pumpkins are perfect. This one would be kind of different. It's going to be more of a wide pumpkin instead of a tall pumpkin. So I'm going to start at the corner of my stem. It's going to go on, almost touch the side. Oh, almost touch the bottom. And back around. I quite like the shape of that one. So here are my basic pumpkins. They are cute, they are tall, and they are wide, depending on which one you drew. The next thing is, I hope you've seen a pumpkin before, but they have these sections that are grown into them, these little grooves on the side. We want to take our pumpkins from flat to fat. And what I mean by that is that I want it to look more 3D and not such a flat drawing. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to use our lines and curved lines to create more of a 3D rounded effect. But your curved lines have to go in the correct direction. One of the things I'm going to do to start so I can make my curved lines going in the right direction and the right kind of curve to them so that they look realistic is I'm going to draw like a little dot in the middle of my stem here. I'll make it a little bigger so you can see it. But you can just make a little dot in the middle of the stem at the top and the middle of the bottom of your pumpkin. I'm going to do that on this side too. I have this little dot as a starting point and an ending point. When we make our curves in our sections of our pumpkins, we want to make curves that match the side of our pumpkin. So I'm going to start off at my starting dot and I'm going to make a curve that matches the curve. It's going to bump out to the right, but I don't want to make it huge. Well, maybe I will. I'll start out with a big one. I'm going to go kind of close to it. I don't want to make my sections too small. It's going to come down and touch my beginning point. It's pretty close. I'm going to do another one. This one is going to be curving close to the one I just did. It's not going to be as curved. I'm going to do one more. This one's going to have a really small curve at my starting point and my ending point. Now I'm going to do this side. I might be able to fit a few more in. I'm going to start at my starting point and my curve is going to match the left side of my pumpkin. I curve out, come back to our start point. Do another one. And one more. Pretty good. Let's try this one. Now you can do it that way where I did it with my biggest curve first, or you could try it this way. Instead of going all the way out to the outside first, I can make a really small one on the inside. It almost looks like a straight line, doesn't it? It's barely curved. And then I can make another one. So this one's a little different than the first one I did, where I started in the middle and now I'm going out. So you can try both techniques and see which one you like better. Not too bad. Let's do this side now. Remember, it has to match this side of my pumpkin. And this first curve is not much of a curve at all. It looks almost like a straight line. And then I can keep going out. I think I can fit one more. There we go. Those are pretty good pumpkins, I think. You don't want to make your sections too close together because then it's going to be really hard to color in later. You don't want really skinny sections. You want them to be wide enough that you can fit in your color and add pattern. Some of them might get too skinny otherwise. So these are the two types of pumpkins you can make that would fill up your whole paper. I want you to practice this a couple of times and get about a computer paper size sheet of paper and draw a big pumpkin on that for the project. Next steps will be coming soon on color mixing. So happy pumpkin creating and good luck on your practice.